Hey guys, today on Rich with Cars, I bring you 2020 Acura NSX. I'm gonna go on a quick review covering the exterior, interior, a little bit of cargo, which in this case, almost nothing, and then engine overview. And I'm gonna give you guys sort of like a bit of driving impressions on this beautiful exotic vehicle from Acura. So strap in, let's take a look. The second generation Honda NSX, or Acura NSX in this case, here into the North American market, was actually introduced in 2017. Not much has changed over the years in terms of things that they added to the vehicle on the different model years. Of course, they changed a few of the actual design aspects when it comes to wheels and other things, but unfortunately the NSX has never really been a very popular vehicle in terms of sales. I think in total numbers, they probably sold approximately 2,500, definitely under 3,000 total throughout all the model years, which is not that many, which makes it a very, very rare car to see on the road. I'm very fortunate, to be honest, to be able to review this one. My buddy actually owns this vehicle and he did some modifications on it, which made it look very clean and very sinister at the same time. This Acura NSX is actually in white exterior and goes very well with the black accents all around the vehicle, including the front grille, the vents on the hood, and some of the black trim on the side view mirrors as well. Starting off from the exterior, we're going to take a look at some of the design aspects that they integrate into the NSX from Acura, and they try to actually follow a few of the design characteristics from the first generation NSX. I love how they design these multi-LED headlights. It's something that they use on a lot of the Acura models, but the way that they integrate it into this NSX really fits very nice. You have some additional opening over here for some cooling. You have engine cooling and brake cooling as well. You have the radiator over there alongside with some additional openings here in the middle. One thing that I'm not crazy about is how they actually integrated this over here. So you have a mix of real venting and some fake venting. So they use the same design for the grille, as you can see in this sort of semi honeycomb design. And a portion of it is open over here, a portion of it is not open. So not a huge fan of that, but they try to make it look clean at the same time. One huge thing that I love on the hood itself is these openings that you have on each side of the hood. You have some very nice character lines as well, but the openings are used for additional cooling and some aerodynamics as well. Under this hood over here, you don't have the engine. The engine is actually situated in the rear of the car, but you do have the electric motors because this is a full hybrid performance sports car. Off to the side here, now we have these wheels. These are aftermarket wheels. They're not the wheels that actually come with the Acura NSX, but these are gorgeous. I love the way that the owner ended up choosing these wheels, you know, to go with the entire design of the car. These are sort of like a gunmetal finish and a really nice design. Also, you have behind these wheels, you have 6-piston calipers with some massive brakes as well. Front wheels are 20-inch and the rears are 21. So he's got a staggered setup, but really nice overall. I love the design here of the front fender. You have this opening over here. I believe it's not functional because when you stick your hand inside, you have the inside wheel well. So, but it's a really cool design aspect that you have over there. And you see how it basically flows right into the side of the design. The other really cool design feature here are the side view mirrors. Very sharp, thin side view mirrors. I love how it's been designed and integrated onto the side of the car. You really get to see it from the front in terms of how thin they are and sporty looking as well and aggressive. I just love how the entire design of the car from the side profile, you know, you have this front fender insert that basically follows a line that goes into the air intake on the rear, alongside with another character line on the bottom over there, and you have this other character line over here that basically merges right into the air intake as well. It looks as if it's moving while it's stopped. It's really nice. The other thing that I don't know if a lot of people notice, but you move on to the side and you can see right through there. These are side buttresses, aids for structural rigidity as well as cooling and aerodynamics. Very similar to the Ford GT as well. Moving closer here to the door handle, very nice flush door handle. It helps a lot with the aerodynamics of the car. Not crazy though about the functionality or mechanism to open it, because you have to lift this up and then pull. But then to actually grab the door, it's not like this is automatically stays out or anything. So, you know, some other vehicles have similar mechanism. I'm not a big fan of it myself, but I just like the design of it though, but not in terms of functionality. And then you have the air intakes over here on the side, where you can see a massive radiator through this mesh grille. And as we move to the rear, this is probably my favorite part of this NSX. If you guys noticed, owner debadged this car, so basically it gives it a much cleaner look. At the same time, I love the design of the taillights, and you can see over here you have a carbon fiber wing. Really nice. And then you get to see the engine here in the rear, and it's for display as well. The way that they actually set it up, the look of the engine bay is really nice in my opinion. I love the look of it. Moving on a little bit further below, you have centrally located exhaust with 4 tailpipes in there, and then you have a pretty massive diffuser. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see the fins on each side of the exhaust. Very sporty look, and I love the way that the rear of this NSX looks. Onto the interior. I like how some of the things were designed on this NSX, and I have to admit that there's some things that I'm not crazy about. So starting off with the door card over here, we got some leather paneling here on the top part, and then we got some nice Alcantara, continuing off with some leather here. This particular interior is a black and red interior, really nice in my opinion. As you can see, some of the black portions on the seating is actually in Alcantara. So one of the downsides of the interior of the NSX is that it lacks storage space. It has no cubby or storage area on the door itself. I don't know why they didn't add that, but what they ended up doing is they added a bit of storage over here, as you can see. Nothing too big though. You're able to maybe fit a small item. I basically put my wallet in there. You have your window switches over here. I don't like the feel of this plastic. It's a little bit low quality. Anyways, yeah, that's where it houses some of your controls. And you have your side view mirror controls, your door locks, and your window controls as well. Here you have a bit of gloss black with your memory seating, and that's a conventional manual door release. And then you have a bit of, I believe this is plastic to make it look like aluminum. So that's something else that I'm not too crazy about. This car is very close to $200,000. So, you know, I don't think they should have skimped on that, in my opinion. I sat in these seats for a small period of time, but they seem very comfortable and also quite huggy. You have some good bolstering here on the sides and also on the thigh area. So good bolstering all around. Comfortable as at the same time. I would say that this is probably one of the most comfortable sports cars I've been in. You could probably daily this quite well. Something very similar to the R8. You have 8-way power seats as well, so you have some adjustability. But in terms of space, I would say it's quite spacious in here. Surprisingly, you have quite a bit of headroom on the top. You can see that they have some cutouts over here for your head, so it makes it quite spacious for your head, but it does not allow for a lot of adjustability to the rear. So you can't actually, as a passenger, you can't lean all the way back if that's what you wanted to do, just because you do have this wall in the back over there. But overall, the seats in general are quite comfortable. I like how they have the seat belt over here at easy reach as well. Nothing too special in terms of colors or anything like that, but pretty straightforward. Then you also have your nice dead pedal in aluminum, your brake pedal and your gas pedal all in aluminum, which is pretty nice. So the interior over here, let's start off with the steering wheel. I love the shape of the steering wheel. It's not circular. It's sort of like a semi-squarish. You have a flat bottom, flat top, 3 o'clock and your 10 o'clock areas. You have sort of a little bit thicker wheel itself. And then you have some of your controls on the steering wheel, which include cruise control, trip information, and then you have a little scroll over here. As you can see over there, that scroller will give you some information about the vehicle itself. Then you have additional controls over here, like voice controls, telephone, and some volume as well, and your different sources for media as well. These are steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. I'm not crazy about the material once again. Something else, the gauge cluster is a mishmash of digital with analog. I don't like the fact that they did that. They should have kept it fully digital or fully analog, in my opinion. And it looks a little bit antiquated in my opinion. You have your different stalks over here for your turn signal and for your wipers, alongside with your lights as well. On the side over here, you have traction control off and your park distance control as well. And then you have a little vent over there. One cool thing that I love, which I'm not sure if a lot of people have noticed, this thing over here is actually a vent, and it's very well integrated into the design of the interior, but unfortunately you cannot adjust it. It's basically stationary. So moving on to the middle over here, same story continues with little to none storage space. You have very little storage space here in the middle. You have this cup holder over here, but that's something that is so odd. It comes with the car. It's basically a little thing that you put into here, and it doesn't click into place or anything. You just slip it in and that's it. So I can only imagine that if you're going very, very fast and you take a turn, it's not locked into place. I mean, it slips in and that's it. You do have a bit of storage over there in the middle, in the back, but that's basically it, with a bit of a cubby hole there at the bottom as well. This is not a charging pad. You can leave your phone there, but you'd have to connect it via cable. That's your gear selector. You have your parking brake over here. You have brake hold, drive or manual, neutral, reverse, which you basically pull, and then you have park. That's your drive modes, and you have a very simplistic HVAC control over here. You have a pretty small infotainment screen. It is touch, but quite slow in terms of responsiveness. You have some main menu over here, items, like you have your home screen over there. So, I mean, it's not the greatest infotainment screen. I think this was taken from other Acura or Honda models. And then your HVAC controls are integrated somewhat between the infotainment, and then you have some physical buttons. I do like the fact that they put some physical buttons there in the middle. Kind of makes it a little bit simpler to control some of the main functionalities of your AC system. Right now the car is actually on, but based on the drive mode that I'm in, that I'm switching from there, engine is off. So I'm switching now to sport, and if I go to Sport Plus, you'll hear the engine come into life. Very responsive gas pedal and very responsive engine as well. Let's bring it back to quiet. You have heated seats over here. I like the fact that there are physical buttons as well. And then I like the fact that you have this little NSX engraved into the Alcantara as well. Good materials, leather. And then you have Alcantara over here, some leather. I don't like, once again, this plastic. Pretty good overall. And then you have a glove compartment, which, to be honest, I don't understand why they took up so much space over here. It's the story of the NSX, which is little to none storage space. Pretty cool thing here where it says ready to drive. I want to show you guys a little quick overview of the different drive modes. Like I said, that's your drive mode selector. So I'm gonna scroll through them just so you guys can see. So you have your quiet mode, which is basically full EV, and you can actually drive around in a full EV mode. Then you have Sport, and then you have Sport Plus, which, like I said before, turns the engine on to go alongside with the, with the electric motors. And then if you actually hold this over here, all the way to the right, it brings you to track mode. And that's full-blown, balls to the wall drive mode. So, a little overview of the of the gear selector. That's your drive or manual. That's your neutral. If you want to choose reverse, it's sort of a little bit different. There's not a button, you just have to press that down, and then you have your park over there. Now, one thing that I noticed, as you put reverse, it automatically brings up the reverse camera, and I have to say, it's probably one of the worst reverse camera qualities that I've seen. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. You're paying close to $200,000 and the quality of the camera is pretty bad. I'll put it in park right now, but I don't know what's going on, you know, like with the Japanese, my Lexus LC and then this NSX as well has pretty awful camera quality, to be honest. Now to get to the heart of this beast. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, both the cargo and the engine. So starting off with the cargo, you don't have much cargo volume over here. You basically just have this little space over here, and since this is a mid-mounted vehicle, it gives you the possibility of having some cargo volume or cargo space over here. As I said before, you don't have much to work with. I'll put the number right now for your cargo volume. And then moving on, you have the engine over here, which is a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and it's a V6 that's mounted on a 75-degree angle as opposed to a 90-degree angle on some other V configured engines. I love the layout of the actual engine over here. It's really nice. They basically display it in such a way that it's sort of a piece of art. In my opinion, it is. This has a dry oil sump lubrication system. So what that ends up helping you do is basically it allows for the oil to be supplied to the engine during hard cornering times when you're on track. So that's a very good benefit of having a dry oil system. So that's your engine as well, but don't forget that it doesn't make up the entire powertrain of this vehicle. This engine alone provides 500 horsepower out of the twin turbocharged V6, but then it also is mated to 3 electric motors, which you have 2 in the front and then you have 1 that is basically between the 3 motors and the engine itself. You have a total power output of 573 horsepower and 476 pounds per foot of torque. I might be wrong, but I'll be putting up the numbers anyways. Additionally, this engine is actually mated to a 9-speed dual clutch transmission. My buddy took me for a drive in this and I was completely in awe in terms of how fast the transmission was on this. It's very fast and very responsive as well. He took me for a launch as well, and I have to say I was quite impressed in terms of how fast this car is. Let's not forget it is all-wheel drive. You do have the front 2 motors that control the front wheels, and you have this engine here controlling basically the rear wheels. So the fact that you have an all-wheel drive vehicle also helps in terms of your acceleration numbers. I believe 0 to 60 on this is rated at 2.9 seconds, so pretty damn fast. Nothing like Tesla's or, you know, like the Model S Plaid, but definitely very fast though. The owner of this particular vehicle actually did a small modification on the engine, which was he put downpipes on this, so when you actually rev the engine and you hear it from the outside, it really has got a very loud whine. It sounds phenomenal in my opinion. But the downpipes actually made it sound a little bit better in my opinion as well. So I just wanted to show you guys part of the engine overview. This is part of the powertrain itself, which is part of the hybrid powertrain. And I want to show you guys under the hood, because it is a rear mid-mounted engine vehicle with some additional hybrid powertrain that's also situated in the front. I did mention that we do have 2 electric motors in the front powering the front wheels. So I want to show you what's under here. I'm not gonna tell you that I'm very familiar with electric powertrain, so I don't know much in terms of what to show, but I wanted to show you guys anyway. That's why you don't have any storage space or cargo volume in the front, because you do have the 2 electric motors sitting right here under the hood. So now I'll just let you guys listen in on the exhaust sound after I finish telling you guys that this owner ended up putting some downpipes. I want you guys to actually have a listen on how it sounds. So driving the actual Acura NSX you get to realize how sporty of a vehicle this is. Never actually taken it on the track, so I can't tell you my feedback on track driving, but in terms of sporty driving, it's very, very, very capable. And like I mentioned before, given the fact that you have the EV mode and you have this very spacious seating area on the interior, it makes it also a very daily drivable sports car. So the owner of this vehicle actually took me on several drives, and I drove the car myself just once. And you know, out of that short amount of time that I got inside the vehicle, you get to see how sporty the vehicle is. In terms of handling dynamic and in terms of acceleration, it's very, very capable. Listen to that transmission, how fast that is. Like I mentioned before, I mean, I don't know exactly how this is on track, but if I were to compare, let's say, to the LC, it's definitely much more capable. The LC is a GT car, and I've been inside of other vehicles as well, and I feel like this car is just balls to the wall performance. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review on this beautiful Acura NSX. Yeah, once again, I want to thank the owner of this vehicle for allowing me to review this car. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to comment below, and stay tuned for the next one coming up. So see you guys around. Take care.